So we were asked to prepare a proposal that would help other teachers learn how to deal with African, specifically at the time it was African American males. But we all know that the techniques that are good teaching is good teaching. And we know that there were techniques that we needed to make sure other teachers who did not go to HBCUs, who had never had experience with the culture, could be as successful as we had been at Central State. So we were asked to do it, and we wrote the proposal, and the proposal was accepted. And our part of the proposal was to train teachers who were in the urban setting, or teachers from districts that were interested in learning how to deal with teaching children who were from many different cultures, how we could bring them in, not only work with and teach them, but actually support them through support services. So we had not only a conference and conferences, we had workshops, working workshops. We had consultants who actually went on the site and worked with the teachers and observed them. And the consultants that we used were from all over the country. And these consultants were, all of them had classroom experience. They weren't teachers at the time necessarily, but they had been in the classroom. I'm a classroom teacher. I taught 12 years before getting into administration. Um, these were people that had the experience, but they also were very knowledgeable about everything that was going on in psychology, sociology, history, education. They were just knowledgeable about so many things. So, one part of this was to bring those teachers on Central State's campus. And I say that with a smile because the first issue was they had never been on an HBCU campus, and many of them had fears just parking, not going to the service. But what will happen to my car? Nothing. What will happen to me? Nothing. And so there's a section of our lives where we have to invite people to learn about cultures, but not just read about them, not just look at television, because television doesn't necessarily reflect our culture, but to actually get in it and see it and experience. So we would get comments from our workshops like, this is the best place I've ever been. This is, the students meet you and they greet you, and everybody wants to help you because that's the environment, one, that our students know, and two, that you have to create. And that didn't just happen, it was taught that this is how you deal with people. So they would come on campus and they would come to the workshops. They would go to various sessions, and the workshops were another really good treat of this whole thing. We brought in people from all over the United States that had concentrated and written and studied the whole issue of teaching African American males. So most of these people, none of the participants had ever heard of. So they were getting a view that they could not get in their colleges of education. They were getting a view of solid research based decisions on how you can help children who may have difficulties for many different reasons in the classroom. So that I've read some of your stuff, Bob, and you make it clear what they were learning wasn't just for African American males. It really was good teaching, but it certainly was helping people who had not necessarily. Many of them, the children came ready to learn, ready to learn. So there was not a lot of work that had to be done on their part except to provide them with the instruments they needed. What about children that don't come even knowing they should learn? And so some of these were some of the issues that they just had never seen before, and that was what we brought to the table.